Hi guys, welcome back. I'm kind of being a little quiet because I'm taking this moment just to be by myself for a little bit. Today we are going wedding dress shopping and I don't know why I'm so nervous. Everyone is here, and by everyone I just mean Caesar, my mom, Caesar's mom, my sister, and my sister's boyfriend, but only us ladies are going today. The guys are going to stay behind, but I don't know why I'm so nervous. I'm still in my robe, I have my hair done, and I'm just letting it cool before I brush it out, but I still need to change and do my makeup real quick before we head out. I'm trying to be excited, but I don't know, I just don't know what to expect. I've been watching so much of Say Yes to the Dress, just kind of get me excited. I feel like I'll be more excited once I'm ready and going, but I don't know, it's just such a big step in the wedding planning process, and I just don't feel ready. So we'll see if I end up getting anything today or finding anything today. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope everyone had a wonderful Christmas and a wonderful New Year's, and I hope you guys had a nice relaxing break. I know I definitely did, but it's so nice to be back home. We just put up all of our Christmas decorations, but I realized that I haven't given you guys a little wedding planning update in a while, so I thought I would do that today. So obviously the main thing, and probably why we're all here today, is I found my wedding dress, and she is, I have no words, so stunning, so perfect. I've literally been staring at pictures of this dress for probably since before I was even engaged, and when I tried it on, I just knew. I was laughing because I kept hugging it. I just loved it so much that I was hugging the dress on myself. And she's so perfect. She's ordered, so I'll get her in July, and then that's when we'll start doing all the alterations and all that stuff. And I'm so excited to put it back on. I've literally just been staring at pictures of this dress and myself in the dress because she's perfect, so stunning, could not be happier. But for those who are still in the process of finding their dress or just curious about the process, I am going to share more of what my experience was like. I originally was just gonna make this its own YouTube video, but I found my dress pretty quickly, and so there really wouldn't have been that much content to include in a wedding dress shopping video. So I figured I'd just sit down and tell you about my experience. I'll still share some clips from when I was originally recording for that wedding dress video, but like I said, I did just kind of want to share my experience to hopefully help anyone else better prepare, or like I said, if you're just curious and want to hear. So in total, I had 2 wedding dress appointments, but I really only count one. I kind of say I only have one real one, because the first one I had was in London. I've said this many times. If you don't know, that's where my sister lives. And so back in late October, early November, I went to go visit her in London. And while we were there, I definitely wanted to go wedding dress shopping. From the start, I knew that this was not going to be what I like to call a real appointment. Obviously, it was an actual appointment where I went to a bridal salon and tried things on. But I don't really consider it a real appointment because I went in knowing that I wasn't going to get a wedding dress there. I just kind of wanted to go in, try things on, just kind of experiment a little bit, see what I liked, see what I didn't like. Like I said, I'd been staring at pictures of wedding dresses, especially the one I ended up getting, for months. So I kind of had a really good idea of what I did like, but sometimes you have this idea in your mind and you just go in and try it on and it does not work at all. So I just really wanted to have that kind of appointment to, like I said, just kind of figure out what I like, what looks good on me, what doesn't look good on me, what kind of fabrics I like, silhouettes, things like that. And I will say, I feel like that appointment was kind of strange. I don't know if it was my mindset of going in knowing that I wasn't gonna get my dress there. Plus at this appointment, it was just me and my sister, and I knew when I actually wanted to get my dress, I wanted my mom and Caesar's mom to both be there, as well as my sister. And so just going into that appointment, buying a dress that day or finding a dress that day really just wasn't an option for me. Kind of backing up a little bit, I have been binge watching Say Yes to the Dress for months. Truly before I was engaged, I was I know my engagement's happening soon and I gotta start looking at wedding dresses. So I started binge watching Say Yes to the Dress. And obviously that's just one store. Not every single bridal boutique is gonna be like that, but it did kind of give me a good idea of what to expect in a wedding dress appointment. And the one in London was just not what I was expecting. I will say the one I did in Dallas, where I did find my dress, was pretty much what I did expect. So I don't want to badmouth any boutique or anything like that, but this boutique just wasn't for me, wasn't for my personality. It's not like anything bad happened or anyone was mean or anything like that. I think it was just the environment, my preset mindset, but I still wanted to share my experience there. So first things first, like I said, I was in London end of October, early November. So I was there for Halloween, and this appointment was on Halloween. And not only was it on Halloween, it was on Halloween night. It was at 6 p.m. so it wasn't anything late, but obviously the sun had already gone down. It was raining. There was Halloween decorations outside. Everyone was in costumes. That from the beginning just isn't how I personally imagined like the scenery when wedding dress shopping. Like I feel like you typically imagine something like light and airy and sunshine and a bunch of white in the store, and that just wasn't how it was. And then going into the store, it was on the third or fourth floor of a building. So you are walking up this tiny little staircase to this boutique. And when you actually get to the room, it was so tiny. Like I would say the entire office area where the boutique was maybe like the size of like my kitchen and living room. So it was super tiny. And one thing that I thought was really weird is there was no windows, or maybe there was and the window was closed, but it was nighttime, dark in there. And it's not even like the environment was light either. Like I feel like the walls were kind of darker, like the floor was, I think, like a darker red, or they had like a dark red rug or something like that. So like I said, it just wasn't how I pictured like a light, airy bridal salon that I had been seeing online. This boutique specifically also didn't have a very large selection. And as I keep saying, I've been looking at pictures of dresses that I did like. I've had an idea of what I liked in my head for literally since middle school. I knew I wanted a certain type of dress, and I definitely was open to trying on other things. I definitely did, but for the options that I wanted to try on, they just really didn't have a lot, which is fine. But I guess I just wish I would have picked a different salon. I picked that one specifically because they did have this one designer that I wanted to try on, and that designer is the designer I ended up getting my dress from. So I knew I was on something there, but that was literally the only place in London that had this designer, and I think they maybe had like 1 or 2 dresses by her. So looking back at it, I wish I would have just picked somewhere else. So I think just the environment of it being like Halloween, rainy, dark inside the salon, there not being a lot of dress options, it was just kind of like a weird experience. As I said before, nobody there was mean, or it's not like it was a bad experience. It just wasn't really the environment that I was looking for. Being totally transparent, the one thing that did kind of rub me the wrong way is that when you're trying on wedding dresses, you know that this is, first of all, a huge purchase. You're really only going to wear this dress one time, and it's for such a big event that you're really not going to be settling for anything. So if you say that you don't like something, you don't like that. Like no one should be arguing you on that. Like if you don't like how something fits your body, like that's your decision. And that was one thing that the consultant, I wouldn't necessarily argue with me about, but she did kind of like go against what I was saying. Like for example, I would try on a dress and I'd be like, oh, I don't like this pattern. For example, my wedding is in December, so I'm not gonna get a dress that's like florals and springy, and I love those dresses, but that's just like not what I'm gonna be getting for my wedding. Like it's just not gonna fit the theme. And I tried on this one dress and it was so beautiful. It was sparkly, it was lace, but I just felt like the lace pattern was very floral and it just felt too springy for me. And I expressed that and I was like, oh, like this is gorgeous, but I just think like it's a little bit too much of a springtime dress. And since I'm getting married in the winter time, like it's just not what I'm looking for and like not what I had in mind. And after I said that, the stylist was like, no, like it's definitely wintertime, like it's definitely like a December pattern, like you'll be fine. And I'm like, well, no, like it's my opinion. Like I understand that she's trying to like hype up the dress, I guess. And I love the dress. Like I thought it was stunning, but I just didn't think it was fitting. And I was just kind of like annoyed that she kept doing that, where I would express my opinion and she would just kind of like combat it or try to convince me otherwise. If I don't like something, I don't like something, and I'm definitely not going to settle for anything, especially with my wedding dress. So that was like the one little thing that was just kind of weird for me and that I didn't like. So all around, I just feel like I had a weird experience in London. That was just with this one specific boutique. I didn't go to any others in London, so I can't say don't go in London, they're all terrible, when that's definitely not the case. Or it could be, I just don't know. But switching over to Dallas. So last month, December, my sister was in town for Christmas and she made a stop in Dallas before going back to her hometown, El Paso. And my mom, who lives in Austin, was able to make the drive up to Dallas too. So it was really nice that I was able to go have another appointment in Dallas with my mom, my sister, and then Caesar's mom, who lives in Fort Worth, came with us as well. And that was everyone who I really wanted to come to my dress appointments. I was really able to have them all there. Originally, we were planning on doing 2 dress appointments, but I didn't ever make it to the second boutique where the second appointment was going to be, just because I found my dress right away at the first one. The boutique that I found my dress at is called Iconic Bride. I had such a great experience there. Everyone was so nice. This definitely was the experience where I had in my head, where the boutique was a lot larger. They had a bunch of dresses for me to select from. The consultant was so nice, definitely did not argue with me about anything, or at least try to change my mind about anything. And overall, I had a really great experience there. So I do kind of want to walk through exactly what that appointment looked like. So we walked in, they were all ready for me. They even printed out the form I had to fill out. So before I went in, for both appointments, I'm sorry, I forgot to mention this earlier. For both appointments, before I went in, I had to fill out a form online that just asked what my price range for my dress was, exactly what I'm looking for, like what the colors of my wedding were gonna be, kind of what the theme of my wedding was gonna be, what dress styles I liked, what I didn't. And so when I walked into Iconic Bride, they had that all printed out, and she was asking me about it, asking me to share more details about my wedding, share more details about what I was looking for. Then I was able to share what I was looking for exactly in a dress, and what I had liked and what I disliked. And that is one really good thing about my London appointment, is I was able to see what I liked and what I disliked. So it's not like my dress appointment in London was a complete failure and completely horrible. No, I'm not saying that at all. So because of that appointment, I was able to tell my consultant at Iconic Bride what I previously tried on, what fit me the best, what I felt the most confident in, and then I was able to walk around, pick out some dresses. She made some suggestions. We were able to get champagne while we walked around, and then she got us all set up in this little area that had a big mirror. So when I came out, obviously the mirror was there. There was the couches that my family was able to sit on. The dressing room was right there, so it's not like I was having to cross the store every single time or make a long walk. No, it was like right outside the curtain. Something that not a lot of people share, and I'm sure you kind of figured out, but I'm like, you just gotta get undressed in front of a stranger. Like basically the entire time I was behind the curtain with the consultant, other than when I was like putting on the dress, I was just in my undies, like not even a bra. And I'm like, you know what, like these ladies have seen it all. Like you can't be embarrassed. They're here to help you. Like they don't care. The first dress that I tried on was the one that I ended up picking, and I pretty much knew from the start. I was like, this one is going to be hard to beat. I think I tried on 2 or 3 others, and then I ended up trying on the first one that I picked again towards the end. Obviously, I'm not gonna share what that looks like just yet. Once I'm actually married and have all the pictures and videos, I'll definitely be sharing everything. But as for now, I'm just gonna kind of keep that to myself and not share it online quite yet. But one little detail, when I first tried it on, it was see-through, like around my midsection, and then when I tried it on a second time, we ended up lining that so it wasn't see-through, and that just really sold it for me. Like once it was lined, I was like, this is perfect. Like everything I had been looking for did end up being above my price range, so I did have to take a sec to think about it, but at the end of the day, I was like, I just don't think I can find another dress that is gonna beat this. As I keep saying, I had been staring at pictures of this dress for months and months and months and months, being so in love with it, saying how perfect it was, and it just fit me so perfectly. So I was like, screw it, let's do it. Like we can take a little bit out of the floral budget or the design budget or something and just make it work out. And while I was making that decision, everyone at Iconic Bride was super patient with me. She printed out quotes and the price breakdown of everything, so I knew exactly how much I'd be paying in total, how much I'd be paying that day. We're super, super nice. And then when I did say yes to the dress, our consultant brought out more champagne. Everyone was tearing up. I definitely cried a little bit. I think everyone in my family cried. It was just such a beautiful moment that I'll cherish forever, and I'm so glad that my mom, Caesar's mom, and my sister were all there to share it with me. And I really just couldn't have had a better experience at Iconic Bride. And I actually just got a text from them the other day saying that my dress is in production and that it'll be here in July. I'm not sure if I said that earlier, but I'm like, July truly cannot come fast enough. I can't wait to see my dress specifically, because obviously I was just trying on a sample. Like I'm not gonna take home that dress. And I'm only 5'4", so we're definitely gonna need to get it altered. And in the text that they sent me the other day, they actually shared their recommended alterations place. So I'll probably just end up going there. I don't want to take any chances. I don't know this girl personally, and this didn't happen here in Dallas, but just a little bridal horror story. A friend of a friend was getting married, and she took her dress in to get altered, and while they were altering it, they completely messed up her bustle and like ruined the dress. So truly not taking any chances by going to a different alterations place. Just gonna take the recommendation and go there. I don't remember what it was called off the top of my head, but I'm sure I'll share more information in the summer when I kind of get that process rolling. I know that was already kind of a lot, but I really did want to be completely upfront about my entire wedding dress shopping experience, the good and the bad. But I do have some other big wedding planning milestones that I wanted to share. We finally finished our save the dates. We just ordered some stamps last night, so once we get the stamps in, we'll get all the envelopes set and good to go. But I am obsessed with how these save the dates turned out. We have been using Zola for our wedding website and a lot of our wedding planning tools, and Zola has this really great thing where when you build their guest list through them, you're able to just send out a code or a text to people asking people to fill in their address, and it automatically auto-populate into your guest list that you have on Zola. I know a lot of other websites do this as well, but it just made things super easy, and we ended up ordering our save the dates through Zola as well. They have so many options and we're able to customize it so much. This is not sponsored in any way, shape, or form, by the way. I'm just truly sharing my thoughts and opinions on Zola, and we have absolutely loved it. Designing our save the dates through Zola just made things so easy, and when we did end up ordering, since our guest list was already on Zola, we were able to just get all of the names and addresses of all of our guests printed on the envelopes for the save the dates through them as well, and we didn't have to worry about uploading a spreadsheet or uploading people's addresses one by one. It just made things so super easy. So of course, I want to show you guys. I'm not going to show you guys too much of the actual save the date itself, just because I don't want that information out in the public for basically anyone to see. And once we got our save the dates shipped to us, I did kind of DIY a little bit, and on the save the dates I added a vellum wrap ribbon and a little piece of dry baby's breath, and it looks so gorgeous. So this is what it looks like with the vellum and the ribbon and the baby's breath. Like I said, so stunning. I think they turned out so beautiful. I also purchased an embosser off of Etsy a few months ago that has our little monogram and our wedding date, and I put it on the back of the envelope on the flap. So this is what that looks like, and I just love the texture of it. It was super easy to do. I designed this myself, but if you look on Etsy, they have pre-purchased designs if you don't want to do it yourself. But I just did this on Canva, saved it, and then uploaded it, and it was super easy. I also forgot to mention that the Zola envelopes, not only were we able to print our guest addresses, but our return address as well. It's up here at the top, but I don't want to share our address with anyone, but I did want to share what at least the names look like. This is just me and my fiance's name, but it just is so stunning the way they turned out, and I could not be happier. So those should be going out in about a week once we get the stamps, and I seriously cannot wait for people to get these. I'm so excited for these little save the dates to actually be in our guest home and to just really start sharing our plans and preparing for the celebration with our guests. So super excited for these to go out. Probably the last big milestone that we have gotten done is while we were in El Paso this last December for Christmas, we were able to meet with our wedding planner and the lady who's doing our florals and design for our wedding at the actual wedding venue, which we've never been able to do. We've been to our wedding venue before, but it was so nice to be there and say, this is where we want the dance floor, this is where we want the head table, this is where we want the cake table, this is where we want the bars, this is how we want the tables to be set up, this is what we want the tables to look like, this is what we want our florals to look like, this is what we want the church to look like, and the aisles and the pews. So we are currently working with her on that, and once we sat down and did that in the actual venue, it just made everything come to life, and I'm so excited for how everything's going to turn out. It's going to be so stunning, and I truly can't wait. I can't believe we are officially in wedding year. I feel like this year is going to completely just fly by. So Susan and I are really just trying to soak up all of it and enjoy this year being engaged. In about 2 months, it'll be a year since we first got engaged, which is so crazy. I feel like time has truly flown by, which I know only means that this year is also gonna fly by and our wedding is gonna be here before we know it. But I'm so excited for our wedding, but I'm also just so excited to finally be married and just to be a wife and to start our life together. Thank you guys so much for just listening to me yap this whole time. If you have any questions or any ideas, I appreciate you guys being here so much. I love sharing this part of my life with you guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon.